road trip. I'm DW on and just Jeff. Hello. Once again, welcome. I'm here. Sam is here. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good, thanks, Gary. Thanks for having me on again. How are you doing? You okay?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I was, as you know, and we'll probably get into it. A really bad end of the month for at least transfer business for Arsenal. As far bad in the sense that nothing happened, but
Yeah.
we'll get into that. But there is lots of football happening today, and then since the last time we've been on, so we'll probably do a quick little review of that. Mr. Tom will probably meet us in the second half, but seen from the score line, I'm not sure we're going to see him today.
You might want to go hiding. Yeah.
That was let's just say Tony. Yeah, really. So I'll look who joined us first, man. And Russ, how you doing? And he told,
I just want to say to Russ, did you just see what happened? I mean, we were just talking backstage about what happened at West Ham and Chelsea now. I mean, it's not just Arsenal. That's the thing. The incompetence is everywhere.
Yeah. And I'll start that and we'll come back to it, but there is a lot of football, so let's get into that as well. Hello, the assemble. Welcome to the show.
Oh, there's Mr. Positive. Look.
Why not? Does not waste any. He doesn't hold back. He just lets it fly. It starts out with the Arsenal. Arteta out. Welcome to the show.
You must be fun to be at a party with that one.
Yeah, we haven't seen BX Gunner yet, but you know what? Oh, I haven't. You know what? I'll help BX Gunner out because I usually do that. So let me just do that real quick while I have you here. So since we last talked, we had 2-1 wins, the 2-1 versus Fulham and a 2-1 versus Villa. I guess I don't know if you have anything to say on the Fulham game, or is that just it's done. It's done.
No, we done that to death, haven't we? I mean,
Yep. So the last game, a really good one for us. We get the win. I'll take the win all day. 2-1 versus. Sorry, I am trying to do too many things here. Let me see if I can get this done real quick without interfering. Get this out. I usually, if I could set up a timing for the Instagram post, I would do it, but I can't. So it goes to go out manually. BX Gunner is in the house, so there you go. Not the same. Yeah. Somebody gets favored in every match, though. And so BX Gunner is in the house. Welcome. Yes. So let's go. So last game, we'll talk about that real quick, I guess, and then we'll get into everything that's going on since then. So Arsenal 2-1 over Villa.
Mm-hmm.
It's always I always say going into the games that if we could just take that first 20-30 minutes of a match and do what we're supposed to do, finish our dinner, as some would say, we would be able to control games much better. And it's another one of those games where that first half, once again, was all ours for the taking, and we didn't put them away. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've seen that now more than once this season where we are totally dominating and we're creating chances, but we're just not putting them away. And that's what we need to get better at, because even at 2-0, even if you're 2-0 up at half time or even later on in the game, if you're just 2-0 up, it's not a score you can just, relax with. Absolutely. It's, as soon as the opposition scores that one goal, they could just a quick goal or whatever, a set piece or a bad decision or whatever, and they can get that equalising goals, So you got to really put teams away like we used to. I know it's you can't really compare with the Invincibles, but that was so great about the Invincibles when we dominated. those games, we did actually put teams to bed. We were 3-0 up, 4-0 up at halftime and things like that, And that's where we need to get back to now, in terms of the way we need to finish, as you say, finish our dinner, because we had so many chances against Villa, and you got that chance Saka missed at the back post. I don't even know it was possible. He managed to miss it. That needs to be a goal. And I think when we finally get there, which I think we will do within the next season or two, when we finally get there, we convert more of those chances. Yeah, we're going to be putting teams more to bed half time and things like that, because when you totally dominate like that, you need to have something to show for it, or else it's going to come back and bite you in the arse in the second half. And that is the way football is. You're rarely, if ever, going to have total dominance throughout a whole game, because football just doesn't happen like that. The other team will change tactics, change players. Your players will maybe tire a little bit. It's just not possible to dominate a game, a whole game. You will have a bit of ebb and flow backwards and forwards, and that's where you need to be smart and do things right. But yeah, we absolutely need to be putting away.
And I was going to say Exhibit A, Forest versus Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Score this game was what? It was 2-0. They let that first goal go in, and guess what? Bournemouth pulls it out, finishes with a 3-2 win on the road. There are two teams coming up from the championship, but still, that's why this is the Premier League. You have to put teams away.
It's difficult for Forest as well, isn't it? Because they've just bought basically 21 or 22 players now. In this transfer window, or I think over 2 transfer windows, or this transfer window. I know that it's basically a whole new squad.
Signed. Yeah.
It's basically a whole new squad, and to get that to work together in this amount of time, it's going to be really hard. It really is. They still managed to score 2 goals today. They lost 3-2, but I think Nottingham Forest are going to find it hard this season. They might have to go back to the Championship for a season and then maybe come back up.
I hear that.
What are you laughing at, Gary?
No, just saying. So Russ is Mr. Thomas got his oven on.
Yeah, he's not showing up for some reason.
No, he said he would be late, but we'll see if he actually does show up. Why not? He's trying to explain himself here. He is fun. It's probably fun as long as you're not talking Arsenal, right?
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but when you get to a stage when you see things are very different and in a better way, and the evidence is just very clear in front of you, it's just it gets a bit difficult to keep on going against that. It becomes more and more. I don't want to say anything, but you know what I mean.
Yep, I hear you. Why not saying big up to us? Yep.
Yeah. Listen, it's probably much easier to talk to in real life.
Yeah, not clinical enough. Yes, Riddy has joined us. Riddy, welcome to the show.
Big up, Riddy.
We just talked a little bit about the Villa match. There was a lot of stuff happening today. Yeah, this is a concern for a lot a lot of people. I don't think he's not tied physically.
No,
not physically. Maybe mentally.
A little bit jaded mentally, maybe in terms of he's missing some chances. He's maybe a bit jaded up here. But physically, you can see he's still good. I mean, he's still racing away from defenders, cutting in and away. You can see the physical side of him, his fitness and work rate. They're still there, 100%. But maybe up here, he's making some wrong decisions. Not finishing right. Maybe a bit jaded up here. I would definitely give him a rest if we had someone who could really go in and do a job. I don't know about this Marquinhos and if he's good enough, really. Or I know Reece Nelson's injured, isn't he? We can't really use him. Yeah. So you're going to have to maybe, if you're going to rest Saka, that's the problem. What do? Do you try Vieira out right there? Which is a bit, I think it's not really his favoured position. He can play there, but Vieira, it's not his optimal position.
There is the. You're not going to probably like it, but you bring in Kedia in and you push out.
Jesus out, right. Yeah, I mean, yes, you can do that, but again, listen, I would do it for the sake of you've got to do something like that for the sake of resting Saka, because Saka, we have to give him a rest at some point with all these games coming up. Well, he's very likely not going to play any part in the Europa League games. I can't see that happening. He's probably not going to be. Maybe he'll be on the bench, maybe. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be starting those games. But even when you set aside the Europa League games, we've got league games coming thick and fast until the World Cup starts. So we need to make sure he's getting some rest now. Absolutely, and I agree with you, Gary. Even for the sake of doing something that's a little bit unorthodox with Jesus playing out right and putting Nketiah through the middle, it's worth it to give Saka a rest, and I think it would still work. Jesus is such a smart and versatile player. I think you could still probably get a lot out of him from the right.
Yeah, for sure, and I think we need to do it sooner than later, just because I've always been saying rotation since I've been saying that for a while now, because I believe we need to do that to get the team ready for this run of games that we have. We can't, like, everybody say, oh, we have a week off. I don't think the week off's the problem. I think you have to get some of these players that haven't played in a Premier League match on the pitch at some point, so they're ready to go when you actually have to call on them. Sambi either was number 2 or he was on loan in my eyes, because I can't have him sitting back. He needs games. He's not going to get games if he's not number 2, and he wasn't number 2. Arteta showed his cards. As soon as Partey went down, El Neni came in. Yeah. If he had any confidence in Sambi, he would be playing right. He would have played right away.
You know what, Gary? I think you're right, and I agree with you. But what I think has happened is, since I think when El Neni became injured, and Partey's already injured, I think he changed his mind on Sambi, and I think maybe he was going to go out on loan, but he decided not to. He's not going out on loan now, because now with our injuries, he's staying put, and he's getting playing time. So yeah, I think maybe the El Neni injury changed that.
Yeah, but I see that. I get it, but that's him being forced and not having a plan.
You're right. He was forced into it. That's right. Yeah.
Because this is almost like this is how Milsrif Rowe got in the game, right? He was forced to put in some players, and then it worked out. And it's like at some point you have to be ahead of the game and know exactly what's going to happen with your players, where they are in their skill sets, and whether they're ready to play for this squad right away or not. If they're not, if you don't, he has people around him. Maybe he's not listening, because for me, I just feel like from the all or nothing, it sounds like he's got good people around him. Albert,
he's got good coaches around him. Yeah.
So either he's not listening, or they just are really on 2 different pages. Because
I think at the end of the day, they have those discussions, where they sit down and they talk, who they think is really informed through training, who maybe should be getting some game time, who maybe needs a rest. They're definitely doing that talk and analysis, as we saw in All or Nothing. They get together and talk about these things. But at the end of the day, it's Arteta's decision as the manager. He's going to say, no, I just want to do this. So, this is the way I want to do it. He's decided to keep the same team playing together for consistency. And again, you see, this is the thing with us fans, and it's not against you, Gary. I'm saying as fans in general, that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because one thing we were screaming for last season and the season before was consistency. We were all, basically every game, not at the last half of last season, but the beginning of last season and the season before. Every lineup was different. Remember, we were screaming out, you basically couldn't win a bet on who was going to be playing the next game, because it changed so much. Yeah. And we were looking for that consistency. And now we've got it. We've got like a set, when all our players are fit, Arteta knows his first 11, who he wants to play. Yeah. And that's what I think we've been seeing the first games this season. I think Ben White is being preferred over Tomiyasu because of the tactics, the way we play when we have the ball, where he pushes in and becomes more like a central third defender. I think that is with design. That is why Tomiyasu is not playing. And then we change it tactically when he wants to go a bit more defensive, maybe change to a more just straight back line of 4, then he'll go to Tomiyasu and use him outright. But yeah, I mean, what I'm basically saying is we're finally seeing that consistency we've been after. And the problem with that is, as you rightly point out, Gary, it's difficult then to find the game time for some of these other players who should be getting it, right? Because you can't really, Arteta's thinking, listen, we're playing so well. I want this consistency to keep on going. You know, we want these points to keep on rolling in. I can't take out Saka now or Erdegaard or Jesus, because, you know, I'm not sure really if we're going to do the same thing, you know, without them, you know.
Well, see, okay, on that, yes, I get you, but that's when you don't have a full squad. That's when you don't have confidence in your all the players that you have, and that's why you are stuck. That's why he's stuck. Like, what do? I don't want to pull Saka because I don't feel I have anybody to replace him or a lineup that I can take Saka out and still get something out of the game. Which I think if you put Nketiah in, you still have you have a decent squad to go out there and get wins in this, especially in the first 8 matches. Saka doesn't have to play all 8 of them because you bring in Nketiah, because if you're gonna play him, you got to play him. He says he wants minutes. That's the only way he's going to get better. He has to play. In my eyes, he'll get more games. Like you said, in the cups and the Europa League, but I think he needs some playing now. He can't go basically a month plus just sitting on the side getting 5-10 minutes here. He needs more minutes, and he's been getting that. But that's when you have to look at your squad and go, am I confident in these guys? And a lot of times he's not, right? He's not confident, and that's why we sit there going, well, damn, why are we keeping these players if you're not going to play them when you're pressed to, right? The game is dry. You've been up 1-0. You need to make a change. The other team makes their changes, comes in, they look a little bit more livelier, and you can't make a change because you're not confident you're going to get certain things out of your team when you make a change. After 3 years, you can't be in that situation anymore, right? You can't be. This is the 4th season, right? He's been with the squad, right? Mm-hmm. At this point, he has to have players to fill all the needs that he needs, right? And he doesn't have that yet.
I think in an ideal situation, I think you look at what Pep does with Man City, right? He has such good players, and he's got such confidence in his players, in his squad, that he will rotate, the players regularly. Even if they've had a good game, all of a sudden the next game they're on the bench because he's trying to keep the squad fresh. And that, I think, is part of the strategy, because he thinks long term. He wants to go deep in all the cups and the league, right? So the fresher the squad is when you get deep into the Champions League, you get to the quarter, the semi. The fresher the squad is when you get to the last 10 games of the season. You're not running on empty. I think that's where City really come. I think that's why City are so good at winning the league, getting more than 100 points basically every season, give or take. Because when you get down to the last 10 games of the season, they're fresher, they're ready to go. That squad is rotated, right? And he can do that because he's got such good players. He's got world-class players basically in the backup, the second string of all basically all his positions. He can do that, right? And I'm not sure. And ideally, you're right. Ideally, that's what we should be able to do. Arteta should be able to rotate a lot more.
I hate to go. I
just don't think we're quite there yet. I think we are with some of the positions.
Yeah.
I think you can say with some of the positions, yes, we can have the second string in, and it won't really, we won't really miss a beat. But with some of the other positions, you're thinking, it's not really going to be the same, and I don't think we're quite there yet.
I hate to bring it up, but if last season when we hit those 3 games that we should have won, if we didn't decide to go with, I think we went with, if I recall, Xhaka instead of bringing El Neni in, because I think we then eventually put, or Sambio and El Neni, I can't remember which one we did, but we kind of lost the game that we did. We kind of just gave a game away because we did. I don't think we put in our stronger team. I think it was El Neni came in and actually did really good, if I recall. That's what I mean. Like that, like all season, if you looked at it, I think a lot of people were calling for it. I think Stan was actually calling for El Neni being the backup to Partey just because of the experience. and the environment wouldn't be too big for him, El Neni. And I think that's where I'm like, you are confident in El Neni. You'll bring him in any time. That's when you bring him in. You know, you don't test out Soundby at that point because it's the season. We already know where the season's gone and how these players are playing. There's no reason to take a chance when you have some known quantities on your bench. You go with the known one. And then he comes in, maybe we get to one of those wins out of the 3 games, and we're looking different now, maybe. But that's what I mean. I feel like the things that I think some things are clear. I always say things are easy, but they're clear as day to most of us, right? El Neni right now looks like the number 2. Well, you know, Zombie needed, like you said, probably was going to go out on loan. And if that's the case, then we should have got a reserve. We should have got another player in at that position. Let me go through some of these chats and we'll continue on here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Riddy, I don't know what I said about I never like talking about that team. So the last thing I want to do is talk about that team. So Craig has joined us. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Craig.
Yeah, no, Arteta cannot complain about anything. I mean, I think we had, once again, opportunities to fill needs, fill holes. I don't care if we didn't get a CDM, but you could have filled some of the holes, one of the holes that we already knew that we needed, right? Midfield, striker, wing, whatever it was. And that's something I want to bring up with you because I kind of made a note watching some of these games. Why not saying he's enjoying talking to Russ? Hey, Sam talks to you the same way. Why not? You got people on different ends of the spectrum. I think it's good to have.
It's good.
It kind of brings you back.
It's healthy debate. We've got to have different opinions, right? We've got to have different opinions.
Yeah, and I think it's good to be able to. Hopefully, everybody's bringing themselves back to somewhere in the middle where we're all on the same page. Yeah. Let's see.
You know what? I think just to say very quickly, I think we all want the same thing as Arsenal fans. We all want Arsenal to win. We want Arsenal to do better. We all want Arsenal to become title contenders. We all want that. It's just I think some fans have different perceptions on how that's going to be done.
Yep. No, definitely the plan. The end goal is always the same. We want to be holding trophies at the end. And everybody's got different ways. Some want to do it the smooth, slow way. Some of us want to just pretty much run through the door and knock it over and let's get this thing. Yeah, tomorrow I think we are right now. A point would be really good based on where we are. But I think for me, Arteta has to be telling these guys we got to win. We can't be going in there thinking we can win this thing 0-0. We've seen 0-0 draws end up going the wrong way for us because I think we play too timid and then get beat up at some point. We make a lapse in our you see it on the field. We fall asleep and we make a really rash pass or a really, really weak pass. Next thing you know, we're in trouble. So let's see what we got here.
We need to make a statement tomorrow. I agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, we need to go into the mindset has to be a win. We have, I think, the best front 3. If Aldegaard's not going, we still have the best front 3. In this game, maybe in some point in the future they catch up to us, but not tomorrow. They're not going to catch us tomorrow. So they're a bit weak at the back. They can be had at the back. So I think that's where we're going to find some joy tomorrow. But we'll talk about that later, probably. Yep. Okay, go on. Let's see what we got here. See, that's the thing. It's not a derailment if we lose because we know how crazy this game can get, right? The problem for me is whether the team knows that they actually played 110%. They just wasn't their day. Because that's the difference. We come in shy, scared, and then get rolled over. Guess what happens in the next one, right? In the next one, we're going to show it again. And that's when the team kind of shows their frailty sometime. Yeah. The squad depth is always going to be an issue. We know that. And the recruitment, I think they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They weren't going to buy somebody. I think they were done. I believe they would now based on what
I think we tried for a couple of players on deadline day, and since we weren't getting any traction with the bids we wanted, we weren't going to pay over the odds. We weren't getting any traction with the bids. I think they just sort of said, "Okay, that's it." I think we could have got David Luiz from Villa if they would accepted, the 20 or 23 million. They wanted a lot more. Basically, just because they want to keep hold of him. So it's basically either you give us a shitload of money or we're just keeping him. And I think we might have gone for another player as well. There's rumors of that Ukrainian kid and a couple of others. I was reading rumors about, I can't remember now. There's 2 or 3 players, other players we was rumored to have maybe gone for. I think it'd probably be one of those. But yeah, again, I just don't think we got any traction on the bid, and that's it. Just like, no, listen, we're not going to pay more than what we want, and that was that.
True. And I'll take this one because it's easy for Sam to take this one here. But, I'll take this one. So I'll take this one. So it can't be like just a homer talking there. ESR one I don't think is ready, or else he'd be playing. He would be getting minutes because we're seeing minutes being offered up there. 2 or 1A, if you want to call it that. Erdogan has been, as far as I'm concerned, has been really good, consistent play in the games. Some games, if you look, I went back and watched replays of the game, and he's playing well. He's just got people around him who aren't either 1 ready for the passes, 2 not finishing, right? So he's not playing poorly at all. Not at all. Not enough to say, well, we need to rotate him for that reason. His performances aren't bad that we need to rotate him. Compared to Saka, not even close. Not even close. I mean, the man's got what? He's got 3 goals. The man's got 3 goals, and I've been asking for him to score, to shoot. He's got probably the best foot on the squad, right? And he's been taking shots now, and putting them between the posts, and they've been going in. So I don't think you don't have to say anything. The rotation isn't for even if you rotate.
You can't write that. You can't have eyes in your head and write that. It doesn't compute. It's just ESR is a good player, but compared to Erdogan, it's just like a Fiat versus a Ferrari. I mean, ESR, he's got a lot of improving to do. To be honest, I don't think he's improved a lot the last year or so.
Yeah, I think he's been held back by injuries and sickness.
He's been held back by injuries as well and playing time. But you see, when Emma Smith-Rowe comes on, it's what are you getting? Yeah, he's got work rate, but there's not really much else happening, is there? I mean, listen, I love the kid. I want him to do well. I want him to play games, but I'm sorry, compared to Erdogan, you just can't compare them. They're not comparable in terms of quality.
Yep. No, I hear you. Yeah, no, the win tomorrow would be really good, but I needed to see the team out there playing with knowing that they can win this match as opposed to trying to squeak out a point. That's kind of where I'm thinking. That's where I'm going with this one. If it looks like they're trying to just get a point out of it, that's when I think we're in trouble. We can't play that way. We don't really have a squad for that. We're going to get opportunities to score. We need to score. And what is this here? Liverpool usually gets tied at the end of the season.
Well, all teams do. All teams get tired at the end of the season because you're playing that many games. But
you know what the one thing is though, I think in most of those games that the 4 times that they had an opportunity to probably get something out of the season, like big things like win in regulation or win the Premier League. It's that for me probably the first half. They have opportunities to score, they don't. It comes back to haunt them, right? Yeah. I mean, in the Champions League final, they had opportunities to score just like City did against Real Madrid. And guess what? You don't do that, and you keep them in the game. Guess what happens? Same thing twice in a row.
Benzema.
They beat.
Benzema is what happens.
You have to put. This is like a Premier League match. We just saw it today. 2-0, Forest up, and they lose at home. You have to put games away. And sometimes that happens in the first half. If you're doing what you need to do, you can't. And so I kind of feel like that's part of it. You can hold on, especially if you have a defense like they did. But eventually, you let the other team keep them too close. You can have troubles, and that's what happened there.
And Liverpool have a very high work rate as well. Yeah. I mean, their tactics, they work. They run a lot. They have a lot of kilometers, run every game. So they are going to tire towards the end of the season. But even they rotate quite well. They do well. That's why one of the reasons why they're doing better than everyone else.
Yeah, I think City has a big squad we've
They have a
seen
quality squad.
we've seen them go. They can go to their second 11 and still compete in the league.
Exactly. You take away. You can name 12 players, City players, where you've got 2 or 3 players you're going to say they have to start. But the 11, 12, 13 other players you could mention, you don't know who's going to start or not because they're that good. They're all that good.
Yeah.
You know, you got your Bernardo Silvas, you got your Gundogan's, you got your Fodens, you got your you've got your well, they've got Haaland now. He has to start, right? But they've just got so much quality. They've got what's his name, Hugo Alvarez now, doing really well. They've just got so many good players all over the pitch. It doesn't matter, first or second string. They're just that good.
Yeah. No, for sure. And as Craig says here, it's a long season ahead of us. But these are the streaks you have to hold on to as long as you can. So
you've got to be happy for what we've done so far. You've got to be happy. But of course, do we think we're going to win all 38 games? Of course we're not.
Yeah.
Of course we're not going to win all 38 games. Tomorrow, in my opinion, we're probably going to drop points tomorrow. We're probably going to get a draw, in my opinion.
Yeah. Arsenal Misfit, welcome to the show.
Big up, Steve Misfit.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. If you can check the show out later, I appreciate it. Monty has joined us from our Cannon Fodder. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And we've got a big comment here from the man.
This guy's just, I don't think he watches football. I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
You can't watch the way Erdogan orchestrates an attack with those 1 and 2 touch passes and just say, no, he's not doing anything. I mean, watch the Fulham game. I mean, the guy was our entire attacking, basically everything in attack. He put it all together. So, yeah. Anyway.
All right. So we talked about the game. We talked about, what you guys had in the chat room. Talk about the games today real quick here. I got the scores rolling in there, but the first game of the day, I keep, it's one of those things where, all right, Liverpool's been struggling. They're going to come through. They squeaked out a win in the last match. They got an extra, 5 minutes. They were able to get the win. All right. Right. All right. They're going to play it. They're playing Everton, right? Everton, one of the worst teams in the league, right? Where is Everton right now? They are sitting just 16th. And I think 16th is because they just drew today. But there you go. You got that happening, and they get a draw. And Liverpool in the second half looked like they were going to come back and get something out of it, but nope. And Everton actually scored, I believe, and it got called back for what is a correctable error, but man, it was really close. It was really close. And it was all about timing because I think the ball got deflected, if I recall. So Liverpool has dropped points again.
And you know what? Their season so far hasn't been good, has it? It hasn't been good. They're suffering with injuries, right? They got loads of injuries, key injuries. They've had the suspension of their Nuno. They haven't been able to play him as much as they want, so they're suffering because of that. And today they didn't manage to score, did they? So it's Liverpool are in a position right now where they're struggling. I mean they've dropped far too many points at the beginning of the season. They need to make up a lot of ground already on City. City are the favourites. It's gonna be tough for them. I think we might see. Maybe this season we might see a different team slide into second place. We might see that.
Well, the fact that they're only 6 points behind means nothing, right? They were 12 points behind at one point, and that was later in the season. Right
now, of course, it can all change, but 6 points after 5 games or 6 games today is quite a big margin after such a short amount of time. But of course, there's still 2 games to go. So yeah.
So that was the early game. I did watch a lot of that, and I was like Everton. some, I'm not supposed to cheer for Everton, but I don't like Liverpool either because they.
No, yeah. In the Merseyside derby, we're all Everton fans, aren't we? Really? I mean,
True. The next one, I guess I'll save the next one. Hopefully, Mr. Tom will be in by the time we get to that one that's on this list there. But Chelsea, West Ham. I guess this will be the VAR game for some of you guys.
Can't stand Chelsea.
I think Chelsea was up 1-0.
West Ham was able
to, yeah. I think West Ham was able to score the next goal to tie it up 1-1, and then Chelsea scores late. West Ham gets a goal taken away for it's not even. I don't think it's VAR that actually did. I think it's just the official called a foul on the field, if I recall. So I don't even think that's a VAR thing. I think that's just the official calling a foul. I don't know how you get a foul on a goalkeeper who jumps in front of a attacker as the ball's coming into the box. There's going to be a collision. There's going to be a collision of some sort. Even if he left his leg in there, there's going to be a collision,
But there's some of these decisions that just make no sense whatsoever. I remember that one, was it 2 seasons ago, or 2 seasons ago now? Was it Coutinho for Aston Villa? I think he was loaned out to Aston Villa at the time. He backed into someone and got a penalty. I mean, you can't make this shit up, can you? I mean, he backs into someone, falls over, and he gets the penalty. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So Chelsea gets the points, and Aubameyang's in the crowd cheering them on. So I guess that's good for them. So
why are people going on about Aubameyang in terms of like, why is anyone worried about Aubameyang?
Yeah.
Why is it the guy? Do people remember what he was? How he played for us? The guy couldn't score in a brothel, and then he went to Barcelona, started scoring a bit again, of course, because it's a slightly easier league to play and a bit more open in defence. He starts scoring a few goals, but even then, the last couple of months of the season, he dried up. And Barcelona, they don't want him, right? If they wanted him, they'd keep him. No, they want it. They don't want him. So he goes to Chelsea, and Chelsea made a bad decision there. I mean, they got rid of Lukaku, who they were using completely the wrong way. Lukaku's still a good striker. They just completely messed him up in the way they kept playing him the wrong way, using the wrong tactics. And and of course he got upset with the situation and didn't want to be at Chelsea. Of course, he didn't get on with Tuchel at all, which didn't help. But you're getting rid of Lukaku and you're bringing in Aubameyang. I mean, Jesus. And they're calling him our club legend to rub it in, of course. I mean, as if you could call Aubameyang a club legend. That's just their fans being, just trolling us, basically, calling him a club legend. I mean, it's no way.
It's weird because a team that has a lot of money to spend, you would have thought you could have spent gobs of money on Tony, right? Yeah. And nobody would have said anything. They wouldn't have said. I don't think they would have said that's a bad deal to bring in Tony. And Brentford probably would have taken the money that you were going to spend because they spend a lot of money on players, and that's a player they need. He scores goals.
Yeah. And, they need a striker, right? They couldn't do it with Timo Werner. They couldn't do it with Lukaku, right? You need a striker. You think you'd go out and try maybe Chelsea with all their money, they could go out and try and get a big name or something. Or Tony's not a big name yet, but he's certainly making a name for himself, isn't he? That could be maybe a type of player they would go for. But no, they go out and get Aubameyang. Aubameyang. Come on, the guy is past it. He's in his twilight now of his career.
Yeah, and it might see a similar thing to Lukaku. He might play good for the first couple of games, and then as the season wears on, they go back to form, and then you're like, going, this is why you don't get him, and why not just going through our failure last season. Yeah. We definitely didn't get the job done, but I don't.
Oh, there we go. Living in the past again. Is he Tony's brother or something? They're going to both live in 1986. In 1984, we had a really shit season. I think we finished like 16th or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's bring all that up again and say that's where we are. We're in 1984. That's George Orwell. And Animal Farm, and let's live in the past. Let's go back to the future with Doc Brown.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying it's Return of the Captain ever. I mean, he wasn't a captain. He just had an armband.
He was shite. He was good for us for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then he was shite.
Yeah. Once he took a trip to Spain and waiting at the gates for them to let him in, that's when you knew he basically was desperate to do whatever. And after all that, here's another thing that we'll get into it now. Arsenal is, as they say, a giver. They give teams what they need with the way that they do their transfer business. How many times are we helping either players out, teams out, but we're punishing ourselves, right? We punish like you think about different scenarios. Aubameyang gets to go. He helps them. He finish top 4 so they get Champions League. Maitland-Niles is what we need. Versatile player, can play decent defense, and we cannot find a way to get this kid on our side.
You know what?
And we put him out on loan, and the first thing the manager does is put him in the same position he says no to Arsenal. Yeah. All right, and then we have holes that need to be filled. We lose 2 defensive mids. We lost one. We lose another one. You've got a couple of, at this point, you've had 4 or 5 days to think about, well, Partey's out for a bit. Do we need to bring somebody in? Then El Neni goes out. And it's like, well, we definitely need somebody now. And I thought, was it Chelsea brought in a defensive mid? I forgot his name, but I think they brought in a defensive mid along the same time as we did in that last day. This is where I think they brought in, is it Fanaria or what is his name? I was trying to
it rings a bell, but I can't remember exactly who it is.
Yeah, I thought he was a defensive mid, but we don't even help ourselves when we know we need it. So we kind of kill ourselves in the transfer window, and we get punished for it at the end because 9 times out of 10, everything goes wrong. Yeah,
I mean, we knew these injuries were going to come, right? That's just the way it is. Zakaria is the guy who's talking about. Yeah. I think he's a winger, actually, isn't he? I'm not quite sure.
Oh, is he a winger? So he's a winger. Still, somewhere we're letting Pepe go. So we got holes to fill, and we never fill them, even when there's opportunities to. And there's actually, like the football gods have said, here, you need to fix this problem,
Yeah. But with Maitland-Niles, I just want to say with Maitland-Niles, I'm not sold on him like so many are, because I think there's a reason he's going. I just don't think he's quite good enough. He's been given chances in midfield, and the last chances he was given in midfield, he wasn't good. His work rate wasn't good enough. I think, there's an attitude problem there. I really do. I think that's part of the problem as well. He's not giving, as much as Arteta wants, or hasn't given as much as Arteta wanted. And he went on loan to Roma, and he didn't impress. He didn't impress at Roma either. So, I can sort of understand how Maitland-Niles is not being, kept at Arsenal. I can see, he's just not quite what we want. It's easy to say now because we're lacking numbers. We should have kept him, because he's a young Arsenal lad, blah, blah, blah. But, at the end of the day, I can see why we let him go. I really do. And he's another one of those players who, he's not part of our future anymore. We need to get rid of him. Say thank you for your time at Arsenal. You're a great kid, but you're not at the level we want. We've got to move on from this. And so, but I agree, we should have gotten someone else. Listen, I agree. At the end of the transfer window, we should have had at least 2 more players in. I agree, we've left ourselves short. But I don't think Maitland-Niles would have really helped us very much, to be honest. That's
Well,
just my
I hear what you're
opinion.
saying. I just remember him coming in and closing out a game because Tierney was getting beat by Domitore, and I always go back to that game because that's what he can do for you. He can come in there and give you spell some minutes for one of your players whose legs are beat and close out a game for you. And that's what he can consistently. I believe his defense is actually it's good for us. What we need. Maybe he's not a starter. Maybe he's not the throne in Tomiyasu or Tierney or anybody like that. But
Yeah.
he's got a place in the squad, right? And he's got a legitimate space there.
Yeah.
And for me, we'll talk about this whole team unity thing. Why are we keeping him? You just said he's probably got a his I don't know what you said, his decision making or whatever you said. He doesn't sound like a player that we want to keep because he's not even going to listen to Arteta. He doesn't even listen to any of the managers he's worked with. They tell him if Arsenal wants you and they want you to play here, you play there. He doesn't want to do so. How different is this than what Aubameyang has done and what Guendouzi has done and all these players that have left for different, personal reasons that just conflicted with the manager? This guy doesn't want to play for Arsenal, doesn't want to play where you want him to play. You cater to his needs. He fails at it. And now we just put him out on loan, extended his contract a year with no guarantee that he's going to be bought. So we just keep dragging along these problems over and over again. And it doesn't make any sense because it doesn't help the squad in the long term because we then turn around and go, well,
who's talking about now? Sorry, who's talking about
Maitland-Niles. We extended his contract now.
I thought we loaned him out to Southampton.
Yeah, we did, and extended his contract so that we could make.
Yeah.
So we never make any money on that approach. It never works.
No,
the player mentality isn't there to actually go out there and show that I'm worth more to you than I am to Arsenal.
It's an interesting what you're saying, Gary. I think it's what it's worth. Not that we're going to have it now, but it's worth having a whole different discussion on that. The transfer, let's say, the way the transfer market has become, because I think it's not just an Arsenal thing anymore. I think we see it with many other clubs as well. The way the transfer market has got is what's happened. I just want to say shortly. I don't want to make a big thing out of this because it would take so much time away from everything else. But for me, you look at players get bought for so much money. The transfer fees are so bloated in some circumstances, and the wages, their salaries are so much. They're so high that it's like, where are you going to go from there? The next big up Tommy, big up. I'm just going to finish my point. It's like, where do you go from there? When just give you an example, a hypothetical example. You buy a player who looks really promising for 50 million. You're paying him £200,000 a week, right? He flops. He doesn't give you what you want. But all the signs were there. You were thinking he should be giving you what you want. Everything looks good. There was no signs of him being a flop. But he doesn't give you what you want. Ends up being a flop. So you have a player who you paid 50 million for. You're paying 200k a week. Where do you go from there? And it's the same, like in a smaller scale as well. You end up with players you can't really do much with because you're either going to have to cut your losses massively to get them sold, and other clubs don't want to pay them the wages you're paying them, right? So it's like you end up with these players, you can't do anything with them. And that's, I think, more of a problem now with more and more players across the whole footballing world, really, not just Premier League.
Yeah, so let's welcome Mr. Tom has joined us, and
he
looks so different outside the dungeon. This is probably the first time I've seen you like in daylight. So
yeah.
you are uglier. You are uglier in the daylight as you are in the dungeon, my man. Can you hear me? Yeah. I don't know if he heard me. Maybe he didn't hear me. The audio is a little off there.
You're now watching the game.
Yeah, Can you tell us about the lead score?
Oh, we
Leeds?
got fucked up royally, didn't we? I mean, how can I defend losing 5-2? I tell you what, you can't.
Big.
That was a spanking, isn't it? So, you know, these things happen in football.
I just can't believe I'm looking at Tom in the daylight.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's usually this is so strange. You have more here than I expected you to. He's gonna hear this back here, and he's gonna be laughing at us. When you stop moving.
I didn't make it home in time.
Okay, so you're home. You're close to home.
I'm nearly home. I'm nearly back in the dungeon.
All right,
perfect. Back in the dungeon. Okay, that's good.
I thought I'll call in when I got off the train, and it'll be all right. And I didn't anticipate how noisy London actually is.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I know the shop.
Yeah. There's lots of people there, right?
I mean, that's where I get my crisps.
Hey, there you go. See, people are so yeah. He didn't get his crisps. It doesn't look like, but he was out getting Riddy's making fun of you. Leeds gets batted everywhere they go.
Really making fun of me? That never happens. Could you imagine if I was a Liverpool fan?
Oh man, that's like double trouble there. Yeah.
Oh, it finished me instantly. Wait, that did slap, PG.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We were just talking about the transfer business. The reason why I brought that up is because I was watching the Leeds game, and Siniesta, I think, scored for them, and I'm like, could we use a guy like that? Could we use a player like that on our squad? Right?
I don't know.
And I'm like, did they spend a lot of money on him? Is there a reason why we can't get players like that either can start for us or at least spell other players and get games? And they don't cost. They didn't spend that much money on their players, so we're not talking over 30 mil for these players, right? And that's where I think Arsenal goes wrong sometimes. Yeah. So I kind of feel like Arsenal's going after these players, one, either for so much more money and we never get our money's worth anyways, but we need players in-house anyways that maybe have I'll take a risk on, or rather take risks on the lower end than the higher risk ones when we spend all this money and get nothing back for it. So that's why I kind of brought up this transfer stuff, is because I kind of feel like sometimes we go and we took risks in this window, right? Jesus and Zinchenko, no risk there. We knew what we were going to get. Turner, Marquinhos, Vieira, for me, all have a level of risk in them. Turner, is he ready for Premier League? Is he that style of goalkeeper that would work? I don't know. Marquinhos, no experience at all for us to kind of look at and go, he's ready for Premier League. We can see a future for him. And Vieira, it's a risk because, I don't know, for that amount of money we spend on him, I think we could spend a little bit more and get somebody we know could start for us today. And we're not. And now he's injured. I think he was injured either coming in or after he got in. Either way, it's those three risks I think are scary once again. Last season, I think all of them panned out. Right, we knew what we got, but I thought that Sambi and Tavares were supposed to come in to replace. In fact, I think they're just ones for the future. And Arsenal, as I said to Matt on his show, they're ones for the future. But what about this future? This is the future right now, right? We've got things to do today. We're not doing it, right? We need players that can play today, not players in the future. Marquinhos is the future. He's not at the play. That's no Marquinhos. And the what?
Why you got to put that up a second time? Come on now.
No. Yeah. No, I kind of feel like that's I need players that can play today, and I don't think we got that. Right now, the City match, it's still 0-0. in the 25th minute here. So it looks like it's going to be one of those days where games are going to be a little bit until City wakes up. You think, just as I say it? No, just ball goes over the top.
Did they start Haaland?
Let's see. I can't see. I can see Foden. Yeah, I can see Haaland. Yeah, he's starting. He's starting. Yeah.
He's only got 9 goals so far.
Has anybody got 3 hat tricks in a row?
Not to my knowledge.
That's one for Tom, that is.
Yeah, he said not going to happen. So, Mr. Tom, I guess Riddy's betting that you got, what is it? 20 packs of McCoys and pork scratchings?
Pork scratchings.
McCoys are delicious. I'm not really a pork scratchings person, that real truth. But, he's now implanted the seed in my mind that I should probably get 20 packets of McCoys.
Yeah.
Because what's the worst that can happen?
What could happen if you got 20? You'd just be satisfied for
a lot longer? 20.
You'd be eating a lot of McCoys.
I like finding my exotic crisps, all right?
Yeah.
I say that. Exotic brands, but always the same 5 flavors. So,
Hey, if you know what, if you can do it right, then it doesn't really matter how many options you have, right? So, yeah.
I'll tell you something. Bacon crisps, awful. Don't touch them.
Oh.
You cannot make anything artificially taste like bacon.
Okay. Yeah. No, my favorite chips, and I heard this on Ars blog. He went to Spain, and he always would bring back jamon ruffles. Those chips are really good. I like them. I mean, it is the fake pork, but it's good flavoring for me. And as Big Gunner says here, if Vieira and Marquinhos play for Brighton, Everton, Palace, etc., they'd have started by now. That might be true, but for me, if they could start for Brentford and Everton and all that, they can at least get minutes for Arsenal, where we are today in terms of our depth.
Yeah,
and that's kind of more what I'm concerned about, is that we're not getting even minutes for them, especially if they're healthy.
Yeah, I think we'll see something different tomorrow.
We will definitely see something different if these injuries pan out, right? We know Partey and El Neni are out. Ramsdale and Erdegaard, if I recall, that's still a maybe that they play.
Zinchenko's out too.
And Zinchenko didn't practice last time, so it sounds like he's out too. So this is why I don't want to. This is why I wanted a rotation beforehand, right? So you come into this match, and even if it is United, we're playing at Old Trafford, we're gonna have to bring in some players. They've played, because it would be nice to say you bring in a Vieira, and he's already played in the league for a couple minutes. We saw something of him, and then you know what? Maybe he surprises United because they haven't seen him go full force, 100% in a match.
Yeah.
Now he comes in, he's going to be coming in flat, never played. Now we're going to expect him to do things that he's never done before in this league. That's tougher than anything he's ever done.
Yeah.
So kind of.
So give me 2 minutes, and I'll be set up in the dungeon.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll see in it. Yeah, we'll be here. We're not going anywhere. We still got at least another half hour before we start thinking about leaving. But still 29th minute, and it's like it's West Ham with a throw in at midfield here. So that's my thoughts on the transfer. I kind of feel like we hurt ourselves sometimes with the way that we manage the players, and especially for me, manage what I think are the easy ones, the easy gets. Questions are asked, and we never go in and just answer them. Yeah. There's a difference for me than Xhaka's recklessness than Diego Costa and Rudiger. They actually, to me, know exactly what they're doing.
I think that's what he's
when
saying.
they do it, right? That's what
he's saying. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's saying he's saying Xhaka is like reckless abandon. He's more like a reckless abandon type player, Whereas Diego, Costa, Rudiger, Keane, Vieira types, they knew what they were doing. The dark arts, the so-called dark arts of football,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tesco rashes. You know what? Oh, on that note, and since we are, you guys are talking about chips and all.
Really, he's a real
You
good
guys are
Muslim,
talking-
isn't he? He drinks alcohol and he loves a bit of pork.
There you go. He said it's fake pork, so he doesn't. He didn't actually. It's really. He did come back and make sure. But North London Derby, I will be in London. I will be in London, so I'm hoping to see some of you guys when I come.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get down for that. I've got to see a bit what's going. The problem I'm having is it's early kickoff.
Yep.
So it's going to be. I'll have to get up some ridiculous hour in the morning to get there. I'm not sure if I can do that, but yeah, I'll see what I can do.
That'd be cool. Yeah, so I'll be there. I'll be there probably a couple of days beforehand, see my dad and hang out and stuff, and then
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna Lolo and Mark for those who are on Lolo on the stoop. I'll be going to the game with them. Yeah, they're coming in. I'm gonna be sitting with them. They've got tickets supposedly, so we're gonna go see that game, and then the next day I think we're gonna go see.
You guys staying in the same hotel or something like that?
I'm gonna stay with my dad.
Okay.
And Lolo and Mark were looking at trying to find a place to stay, so that's still in the works right now. So we'll see how that all goes.
Whereabouts in London is your dad?
He's in Acton.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely walking distance from the Acton stop. So I know, because I've when I went there last time, we just walked to the train. So not
cool.
to the tube as they call it. So yeah. So
how long ago has it since you've been there?
Actually, I went just before the pandemic because my dad turned 70. My dad turned 75, so we went. Wow. I went for his birthday and saw him there.
It's not too long ago then. Okay.
No. So
that's good.
Yeah. Now you guys talking about this? Yeah, the mentality. It's that is the thing with Arsenal. We're missing that player, right? We're missing that player that you go, I want him on my side, and everybody else hates him. We don't have that player right now. I mean, which is weird to not have one, right? We don't have the one player that you can go, you know what? Somebody's going to have to put in a hard challenge here, and he always does it. We don't have that guy.
Yeah, the enforcer.
Yeah. So, praying for Ramsdale. All right.
Yeah, I agree. Because if Ramsdale's not playing tomorrow, I'm going to be shitting my pants.
And look at that. He looks so normal. You know what? You cannot do shows in the daylight anymore. All right? Because unless something's got to be different about the way you look or the way something's got to be really different if you do it in the daylight. This is Mr. Tom in the dungeon, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But I didn't know if you were cutting off at 6, so I was like, well.
Oh no! I try to go about 90 minutes if I can. If I go more, then that's because we got a lot to say. But
I said I'd be here, so I was like, I've got a mobile device with technology.
Tom, we're waiting for Tom's, transit van of transvestite terror tactics.
You know what?
What? Should I say? Is it that time?
I'm so glad you said this. Right?
Oh, he's got a blue one. Hey.
Yeah, glad you said this because today's tactics truck will reflect the amount of football that I've actually watched this afternoon, and it's going to be Everton versus Liverpool. Okay, which means fuck all.
Go give him a sniff.
One in each, all right? Yeah. Sorry, just I've got an itch as well. Multifunctional, isn't it? It's my back, not my crack, right? So, no, seriously.
You know what? Seriously, I gotta try to get that thought out of my head. All right, continue.
I meant the powder. No.
You know what? They're both bad.
I didn't mean the powder. One's illegal and one's disgusting. I'll let you decide which is which. But no, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna do a bonus one. All right. I'm gonna do. It was a cold and balmy night in August of 1995, and Leeds have got a throw in against Liverpool, and we throw the ball in, and one of their defenders, who I've forgot because I'm now on the spot, heads it out to one Anthony Yeboah, who strikes the ball as sweet as anything, as sweet as silk, some might say. And it fondles the underside of the crossbar about 97 times due to the power he put on this shot. And it was wonderful.
Was it goal of the season then? I think it was.
No, I think the one he scored about 3 weeks later surpassed it, which was another goal against Wimbledon, where the ball fell to him and he thought, I'm going to let it bounce. I'm going to knee it in the air. I'm going to let it bounce. And then I'm just going to try and fondle the underside of the crossbar 700 times again. And he did. If you've seen it, Gary, I am being biased because I'm a Leeds fan, but I do think he is the greatest goal ever scored in the Premier League. However, because we're not a top 6 club and we weren't in the Premier League for most of the last 2 decades, no acknowledgement. No. I'll tell you what, if Wayne Rooney had scored any of those Tony Yeboah goals, I don't know which pundit I would accuse of still being attached to his penis via their mouth.
You got a point there. Tom.
They'd be like, oh, sorry, Wayne. Can I call you Wayne? I'm already down here. I might as well. Anyway, sorry, that's not PG. Certainly not PG. I'm liking this. I'm liking this dual fingers kind of thing. I should have brought it to Friday nights.
2 fingers is better than 1. That's what she said.
Oh no, that's where we see. This is where we went. This is where we've gone now. Really will be at the Everton match.
No, but that Yeboah goal, the one against Liverpool, was it Liverpool? You said the first one, yeah. The
first one was against Liverpool.
That one,
I watched it with my uncle.
Awesome. That goal was absolutely awesome.
BX Gunner's right. It is in FIFA 06, the opening montage. Exactly right. Very good.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to go see that. And this is for Sam. What do you call a trolley without wheels?
A trolley without wheels.
Transvestite, no doubt.
A transvestite.
I don't even know. That's not even funny, is it? It's not even funny. It's just like you just said a word.
Sense of humor. That's all I care about.
Yeah, no, I won't be coming to any Europa League games. I would like to.
Only the poor people attend those. I'm not poor. I'm only joking. I am poor.
To be fair, right? To be fair, modern football ticket prices, I don't think there is a poor person's ticket.
You know what? I saw the other day. I just come upon it just by chance. It was on my feed in YouTube. There was someone recently at the Diamond Club. They went to the Diamond Club at the Emirates. Fucking hell. Sorry. Bloody hell. It was, what was it, £1,000 or £1,100? And that's the ticket. You get a pre-match meal. You get a post-match meal. And it's a special lounge. It's like the nicest lounge called the Diamond Lounge. The nicest part inside the stadium. You get like the director's seat level seating, and the seats are extra large, and they're fancy and all that. But you get a pre-match meal, nice meal. You get a post-match meal. You get to meet an Arsenal club legend because they got a couple of them walking around. They probably have to do this for every game. They got a couple of legends walking around to all the tables.
Well, we're doing that at Leeds,
and you get free beer and alcohol for the duration when you get there. You get there probably.
We are doing that at Leeds.
And no, but it's just it looks really nice. But it's like, is it worth 1,100? I mean, I can't remember what game it was, but they paid 1,100 each.
And that's not even for like a finals. Or like, all right, you're gonna win the league, or you're gonna get promoted by it, or something ridiculous.
A regular league game with £1,100. That was for the ticket, pre-match meal, drink all you want when you get, and you have your own entrance, of course. You're getting your own entrance, your own lift up there, and then there's its own lounge, a special little lounge. You know, there's not that many in there, obviously, who have these tickets, and you get your own seat outside and that. But it's £1,100 for that. I mean, it's a joke.
To be fair, right? They do that because they know people ain't going to pay that on a regular basis, but they want people, as the assembled has said, his most recent comment, they want people to want to do it once. So you experience it.
Well, that's
why I bought filet mignon once, because I wanted to see what it was like.
Well, you got to remember Arsenal's fan base. The thing is, I got to remember Arsenal's fan base is so large and global. You're going to have some of the local rich guys, you know, rich swanky guys who, you know, probably got like a year's subscription there or something like that. You know, probably pay 50 grand or something like that for it, just for the fun of it, because they can. And then you've got all the others who come in game by game, like you say, is probably on a like once in a lifetime basis. But Arsenal's got enough fans and enough, you know, the demand for it. They can charge those sick prices for it, you know.
Yeah. Keep in mind though, in other clubs, or let's say outside the Premier League, like let's say the Championship, clubs offering the equivalent of that. That is a bulk of their income compared to you. Like, this isn't a popular thing to say, but the one thing the pandemic actually proved in football terms was that Premier League clubs don't actually need fans to operate. As long as the TV deal is what it is, they don't need a single person to come through the turnstile.
You know what? That's Silly, the same. I was just saying real quick. I was just going to say that's why the NFL is the way it is because they don't care about. They don't make any money off the tickets. Not enough to say this is where we're going to cater to. You know, they're going to cater more to the TV because, as you said, TV money is so much more than the tickets and the fans that come in. That's just like a nice to have. They don't have to. You know, cater to the fans inside. That's why a lot of times the viewing is set up for the fans at home, right? Commercials and breaks and all that stuff, so that they can go and come back and continue to watch the show. But it's so much money out there, and too much of it going into all the fans that can't actually be in the stands, right? And so they don't necessarily care about you in the stands.
I'm talking about income, right? Income. They Arsenal. I'm not sure if it's been surpassed now by. Maybe it's been surpassed by someone else. Maybe Tottenham now. Maybe I don't know.
Tottenham have the biggest income.
Maybe they do with their new stadium. But Arsenal, like a few years ago, Arsenal they had the biggest income in world football. Basically, it's something like £2.5 million income a game or something like that. Nearly 3 million a game. But anyway, what I was going to say, I was looking at that Diamond Lounge, right? And he showed the Diamond Lounge. I would reckon there's probably maximum of about 100 people that have access to that lounge, right? And I'm thinking, so if you're thinking on average, each of those people are paying at least £1,100 each. I mean, that's over 100. I'll say that's 110 grand plus, right? 110 grand plus just for that little section, right? I'm just thinking it's huge income, isn't it? You know,
and that's free money in the context that in the context that you own the space, and you can do what you want with it. So you convert it into something where you can charge more than if you had just 5 seats.
That's why when the stadiums didn't have fans in it, the teams may have mentioned that it'd be nice to have them because of monetary reasons and financials, but it made nothing. I mean, the TV dollars is where everything is anyways. So it's more for the fans than anything. And like you said, if you have a big enough fan base, it will be full all the time, no matter what. Right? If everybody just gave up their season tickets, they would still have people would plan to go to games then because they would know they could get games and sit in the stadium. You know, the
unpopular thing to say relating to this, to be fair, is it's the same when it comes to buying football players. No human is worth the amount of money that footballers go. But by the same token, something is worth what someone is prepared to pay for it. And if they're not prepared to pay it, you have to lower it to what someone is prepared to pay for it. But while someone turns up and goes, I want some of that Diamond Lounge, Arsenal are going to go 1,100, please.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if that happens every time, then next year it'd be 1,200, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or however.
Oh yeah, of course. That's just going to go up because the
Yeah.
demand is there. You know, as I'm saying, is that there's enough people with money who support Arsenal that will do that. You know, that's it. You know,
that's like that the Branson Island, right? Whatever it is, 20K a day or something ridiculous like that. You're like, how does that thing stay busy? But it's busy, right? People are there's people out there with that much money they can spend money and
it's
go
like
live
that.
on
It used to be when it first got launched. There's more of them now, but it used to be the Burj, not the Burj Khalifa, the Burj Al Arab, the Sail, not the world's tallest building that came later, but the Sail, that hotel called the Sail. I think it's called the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. Right, it was the world's first 7-star hotel. 7 stars, right? And the whole hotel is basically suites of a different size.
7.
Seven stars.
Yeah.
The first 7-star hotel.
Is there actually a 6, by the way?
Yes, there are some 6.
Oh, there are. Okay.
Not many, but there's a few. But now there's a couple of 7 stars at least that I know of. Anyway, but it was the world's first in Dubai, of course. And this hotel was just built especially for it cost billions, of course. It's basically just suites of different sizes. You got a small suite, which is bigger than any hotel room we're ever going to see, up to big suites. And when you book a night there, included is you get transport from the airport in a really special like limo and all of that. Or if you're one of the big suites at the top, you get a helicopter because it's got its own helicopter pad at the top for the bigger suites.
You don't want to wait in an elevator to go up to your room, right?
And everything's like gold plated, and it's just completely sick. You think it's just sick. You should see pictures of it. Everything's all gold plated and all of that. And if you're in one of the larger suites, you get your own butler and your own chef. They're actually there for you to make food whenever you want, whenever. You're just there. You want it, they'll do it. They'll sort it for you. Anyway, I saw, this is going back some years now, but for the smallest suite, which is still ridiculous, right? Per night was like $5,000 per night. So you can just imagine what it is for the bigger suites. It's like, and people pay that. They fill up that hotel. I'm not sure after the pandemic now and all of that, but a few years ago, they were filling up that hotel every night, filling it up. I mean, it just goes to show you how much, stupid money there is out there.
There is a lot of that money. Disposable ink. People would like dropping millions of pounds and dollars out of their pocket and just not worth spending down to pick it up.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it to them. So here we go. So it's almost halftime here at Aston Villa versus City, still 0-0. And so we'll see how that goes. But I guess while we are here, we can talk about tomorrow's games. We got Brighton playing host to Leicester. That Leicester is my upset pick for those who will watch us on Arsenal Fan Circle. They haven't won all season. They're going to get a win or a draw at some point, or they're going to get a win at some point. I could see them getting a draw against Brighton, surprise them, even though Brighton is a much better squad the way they've been playing. But at some point, they are going to get a win, I think, right? So I don't know how you guys think about the Brighton-Leicester get the match tomorrow.
Oh, that's Brighton. I hope wins. Leicester are crap, aren't they? Leicester looks like they've given up because the chairman's basically said there's no money. Well, he said I'm not going to put any more money into the club for now. We're going to go austerity for a while. I didn't want to buy any players.
I couldn't.
the message that sends to the club is, you're not going anywhere. We're not going to get any better.
They're going somewhere to the Championship.
so,
At this rate.
So Leicester look absolutely, sunk. Absolutely sunk. So I think Brighton are home as well, aren't they? So yep. Brighton, I think, are going to probably win that game because Brighton with Graham Potter, even without, they've lost what's his name, Bissouma, and that other guy I can't remember now, but they lost.
Yeah, and they've replaced them with other players we've never heard of that are probably also going to play amazing in this system.
Exactly. The thing is, that without those two key players they had last season, they've still started the season really well. It looks like they're not even missing them. So you've got to give Graham Potter, got to give him some credit for what he's doing. And I just think Brighton's going to win that game tomorrow. Leicester just don't look like they want anything at the moment.
So terrible upset pick for me then.
I'm not sure I'm qualified. No, not qualified. I don't know if I should be talking about football because I didn't think my team were going to get murdered 5-2 today. You're right. So I don't know if I should be allowed to say what I think is going to happen in other football matches because I don't know. Should get your own ass in order first, I suppose. But at the same time, to be fair, Brighton need the win in the sense that everyone expects them to win and win comfortably. Leicester need the win because, let's face it, they need the win. So the actual likely outcome is that neither of them will be happy and it will be a draw.
Yeah, good shout.
That's what I'm hoping. I guess I'm hoping for since that's how I went through my upset pick there. But yeah.
But you're right, Gary. At some point, Leicester have to win a game. So, maybe it could happen tomorrow. You don't know.
No, let's see how long it takes they play Leeds. We're very charitable, you see. You need a win, come find us in the fixture list.
Well, that used to be Arsenal, man. If you hadn't scored a goal all like in your entire life, or like in the last 5 years, you hadn't played in the last 5 years. You've been sitting dwindling away, and you needed a goal.
Yeah,
you played Arsenal, you got it. Every time we did that in the last number of years.
The funny thing is, though, I sit there and think the same thing about other teams coming against us. But then I never sit there and think what other teams think about playing my team. That Patrick Bamford shit. Oh no, wait, he just scored a hat trick. Or what Villa must have thought when Bamford stuck the hat trick past them because they hate Bamford.
It could have been a high-scoring match today, though, because Bamford did have an opportunity to score. I think they did come back and score.
Yeah, what's going on with Bamford? He doesn't seem to be scoring many goals anymore.
He's been injured for the last year.
That's true. He's had that long-term injury, hasn't he?
He plays about 8 minutes and gets injured again and goes, my ankle hurts, pay me.
All right, so we'll get into our... and
hate Brentford.
It's just ifs.
It's like, we're the bees. But you don't even play in yellow and black, you pricks. I mean,
yeah.
I know it's because of the bee in Brentford. But
did you go to Brentford to see it?
Nah. I would if I had. I would have been broadcasting from a prison cell after that defending because it was criminal, obviously. But I don't know. I'll find out on Match of the Day tonight, I suppose. That's a lie. It's a lie. I'm never going to watch it because unless I've watched it live, I don't go back and watch highlights of games that my team lost. Why waste 2 minutes of your life? Oh, you love your football team? Yeah, I love my football team. Why am I going to sit there and watch, 5 out of 7 incidents in the game be my team looking shit? Fuck them.
Definitely makes it difficult to get infused about watching.
My eyes on it, fucking win.
Yeah, and I guess the match of the day tomorrow, anyways, the big one. Yeah, Old Trafford welcomes
Rangers
Arsenal.
and Celtic in it. Oh no, wait, that was
that's a totally different thing.
The Scottish League.
Hang on. Sorry, I get my live score. What's on Sunday?
I think Celtic won 4-0.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yorkshire Derby. Hull are playing Sheffield United tomorrow. So.
Wow.
So here we go. So let's get into it real quick. I guess we'll talk about Arsenal tomorrow. Arsenal is coming in banged up and probably coming in with some unknowns. Definitely coming off the bench. We're going to have unknowns coming off the bench at the least. United did win their last two matches 0-1, and everybody, like, if you listen to their fans, that means their defense is really good. And the offense is similar to Arsenal's in the sense that they can't finish their dinner. And when that happens, then they'll be okay because their defense is better than ours. I mean, our defense, I think, is really good. I think our defense has created at least 3 of the chances for other teams, and that's why we have given up goals. And that's because we're younger than United. So we're going to make those mistakes. I'll take those mistakes now, but soon they can't happen anymore. But I think Arsenal can pull this thing out. I'm going 2-1. I think our front 3 has to continue to start strong like we have in the past, and has to score early and hopefully often enough that it's quiet in there. We can turn that thing into a library, at least except for one end of the stadium, right? We need to do that and make it easy for ourselves if we can keep quiet them. Sam, what are you thinking about tomorrow?
It really depends on who we line up with. I think if we don't have Ramsdale, I think we're in a worse position. If we have Ramsdale, I think we're in a slightly better position. It really depends on who we're lining up with, but I'm just going to go with worst case scenario. If we don't have Ødegaard, we know we don't have Partey, El Neni, we most likely don't have Zinchenko. So if we say, I'm going to say we have Ramsdale, because I just don't want to think of us without Ramsdale. We have Ramsdale, maybe not Ødegaard, as I said, but the thing is, their defense can be got at. As you said, our front 3 are playing well. Their defense can be got at. They're making mistakes in defense. But I'm a bit worried about our midfield, especially central midfield at Old Trafford, because even with their, the way they're playing lately, for the last couple of games they played okay. They haven't been brilliant, but they played okay. They played well against Liverpool. So far this season they haven't been very good. The intensity hasn't really been there. So, you don't really know if they're going to keep up 110% or if maybe they're going to fall off a little bit. We don't know. But anyway, either way, as I always said with the Old Trafford games, it's a bit like the North London derbies in that form really goes out the window in these games because, at Old Trafford, Manchester United, they're so up for us. They're so up for beating us. It doesn't matter, about the circumstances. It's going to be a really tough game no matter what. Just like with the North London derby, it doesn't matter if Tottenham are 16th and we're in first. Tottenham are always going to give us a really hard game in that game. And it's going to be the same tomorrow with the game at Old Trafford. Personally, I think it's going to be a draw. I think it maybe be a 2-2 draw. I don't think it's going to be 0-0. I think it'll be maybe 2-2. And both teams will probably have a chance to win the game, without managing to finish what they should. I just think based on what we're lining up with tomorrow, most likely a draw.
Cool. And Mr. Tom, any thoughts on the Arsenal match?
On the Arsenal game? I was going to say, it was going to happen on Sunday. I was going to go on a comedic tangent. Anyway, I think your game will. My actual prediction on a different show was that you will win the match 3-2, and I had said that Bruno would get a goal or an assist, and I initially said Ødegaard, but then a certain individual in the top left of the screen notified me that Ødegaard was injured, so I had to scramble to a certain director named John to get it changed to Jesus, upon which I then found out on that show that Ødegaard's not fully injured and might actually play, and I cussed out Gary live on the internet. It's true. I was like, God damn it, that Gary told me Ødegaard was injured. So I look like a fool.
It could be.
Won't be the first time I've looked like a fool.
The thing is, got to go for a fitness test.
Yeah. As they said, are being assessed. So we shall see.
I do think you are. Let's be fair. When have you ever been in such a good position to justify being confident in going into an away game at Old Trafford? Because although they've won their last couple of games, you're the team to beat at the moment. You're not really, it's Man City, but you know what I mean. That statistically, you're the team to beat.
Tom, I'm going to answer that question. You're right in the way you're thinking there, but this is why I say, Old Trafford's always such a hard place to go, because I remember we're going back now when David Moyes was a new Man United manager. It was a season he'd taken over from Sir Alex. I can't remember which year it was. I think it was 2015. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, 14-15, I think.
Anyway, I think I can't quite remember those years, but what year it is. But he'd just taken over, and they started terribly. We'd started quite well, but we were looking good. We were in some form, and I remember every Arsenal fan, including myself, we went into the trap of David Moyes is looking a bit shit. United are looking a bit shit. We're going to go to Old Trafford, where normally we never ever have a good game. We're going to go there, and I think we're going to smash them. We're finally going to go there and smash them. What happened? We went there in form. They were out of form, and they beat us 1-0. We had a crap game. They outplayed us, and they won 1-0 with David Moyes. So, that's the thing. You go to Old Trafford, you never bloody know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a question here. Is Tomiyasu is healthy? Do you play him? I don't think we don't need to play Tomiyasu 1 unless he's ready to go. But also, I kind of felt like Tomiyasu can come in and help close out this thing if we're able to get a lead more than he can help us get goals. Right. So if that's my mindset. So Tomiyasu doesn't have to start, especially in this game. It's probably not a good game to be your first start. Yeah. Right. And second, I think we are better going forward, definitely with White. And I think we need to score and score often for me anyways. It might be hard if like you said, if he's not in, but we need to figure out a way to do that. Maybe that's Milsrifro. Maybe Vieira does show up and shows us something, but I doubt that. But we need some kind of surprise from somewhere.
You need a big performance from your new striker.
Yeah, Jesus needs to. You know what? He needs to. Yeah, you're right. If he can do what he's been doing before, which is taking the ball deep if he needs to and starting the attack, and Saka and Martinelli are up there together. Like if he puts a cross in and Saka's there and he can touch it home, which he should hopefully have been working on, because the ball's coming in and he cannot take more than one touch. Right? I mean, that's been my thing about the way we've been playing. If it's one touch with Jesus, and Saka likes to get that extra touch in there, and I think that hurts him. All right, so we're going to go through a couple of these comments here, and then we're going to get out of here. We have
because as much as Thierry Henry was a flat track bully and really padded his stats against the lesser teams, he still turned up in enough games against Manchester United.
Yeah,
that you can't say he's just a flat track bully, and because if he scored 200 goals for Arsenal and none of them were against Man United, he'd be laughed at.
Yeah,
but no one laughs at him because he was amazing, and I hate him because he scored so many times against Leeds. I hate him.
was his face Danny Mills? He nutmegged.
If we want to go down that, we could talk about all the times we've cost you the title, or we could talk about the Arsenal team of 2001-02. You won the league, and we beat you at Highbury, and then we beat you again the next year at Highbury, and then you beat us 6-1 the next year. So we're quieting on that a bit, but. I think that was when Thierry Henry was like, I like playing against Leeds for some reason. I was like, no,
I like
stay
Danny
away.
Mills in the corner, down the corner flag.
Danny Mills got sent off in 01-02 against you for, if I remember rightly, I might have it factually wrong, but I think it is him. I think Ashley Cole's on the floor and he kicked the ball at his head
Probably,
and he got sent off for it.
Sounds like a Danny
Don't
Mills.
don't get me wrong. He should get rewarded for kicking the ball at Ashley Cole, obviously.
True. No lost love with him.
I believe we had 9 players on that day in August, and
I think it was one of your bad days. One of the Leeds, Leeds being Leeds days. Where everyone sort of goes on a mugging raid.
Yeah.
But
Jesse Marsh has done his best to be my mate because he got himself sent off today. So
there you go.
I'm
hoping. As we get out of here, I'm hoping that we don't have any dodgy decisions. Especially this would make no sense. But let's see what else we got here, and then we'll let everybody have their say before we head out of here.
I'm not coming on to an Arsenal show, not remembering the few times in existence we beat you. Come on, there.
Yeah.
I remember your old Admiral shirts.
Yeah.
We were one of the first teams in world football to have a kit manufacturer.
Yeah. No,
why not?
Why not? You're definitely true about Arsenal's transfer business. Saliba and Saka need to re-sign these contracts or get these extensions in pretty quickly for me. We cannot go into the last game of the season and those guys leave to go on holidays without a contract.
Hold on, scored apparently.
Oh, he just scored. Oh, am I
bastard?
I didn't hit go live on this app here. Oh, there we go.
He must be the fastest to hit 10 goals ever. There's going to be something.
He was the fastest to hit 9.
Yeah, apparently, like. I won't
you know what? Okay, you see it. If you saw the goal, if you don't guard him in the box and you just let him walk free to the far post, and then you don't guard the cross.
The problem is if you guard him. Yeah, but if you guard him too well, that usually means you're leaving one of their other 10 superstars
You can't
open.
leave him though. I don't care how that works. He cannot score on you because like you said, once he scores, he sees the blood. And I'm
terrified of playing that, man. Yesterday, I gave it all the big bravado. I'm not afraid of Haaland. I'll be fucking terrified after today. Because yesterday, we'd only conceded 4 goals in 5 games, whereas today we've conceded 5 in 1 game. So I'm sitting there going like, fucking hell, Haaland's going to do that to us by himself. Even though he shouldn't, because he's a Leeds fan. He should stay correct.
Are you guys ready to go, or do you want to talk this thing through as this game ends here?
Yeah,
I can go on. I don't know about you, with Sam. If you're like doing anything,
I can go for a little while, another 15 minutes or so.
All right, cool. So we'll stay around here, and we'll keep the game's going on, so we can keep chatting here.
I've got a question, guys, as well. Don't worry, I've got questions in advance. So
you have? You know what? I always forget if Tom's questions are just a weekday thing or a weekend thing. So we can hold on to your question right before we head out of here. In about 10 minutes, we'll get Tom's question of the week or whatever you want to call it.
Tom's tranny trivia.
Oh, nice. Sam always has to brighten it up, flower it up, or whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't say flower.
The king of Chicago strikes again.
Bloody hell! I have to bring that in every time.
I can't not say it. It's great.
Yeah. No, Haaland is definitely pick your poison, man. Which do you want? Do you want him to score, or do you want to leave the middle wide open for somebody else to go in there and punish you? Because those are your choices.
He's a machine, that guy.
Yeah, it's and my only concern for him, and it may not happen because it's at City and he probably won't play in some games going as the season progresses. Is will he be available to them? That's all. If he's available to them when they need him, it's going to be really, really bad for everybody else.
But they don't actually need him until hang on. I'm on my betting in the dark. I predicted Villa would have at least one card. Erling Haaland would get a hat trick, and Kevin De Bruyne would score or assist. And apparently, Kevin De Bruyne assisted Haaland's goal. So if Haaland gets another 2 goals, winning bet at about, I think it's nearly 30 times my cash. So,
oh, look at that! Very nice. I missed
Nice
it.
one.
I missed the.
He's going to get 2 more goals in.
Yeah, and that guy can't score though. He's already struggling to get goals in. I mean, look at him. He's only got 10 in.
I mean,
6?
my thing with the bet, like you'd sit there and think, oh, predicting a hat trick is difficult. But I was more worried, like, yeah, I need De Bruyne to assist at least one of them.
If there's somebody assisting, it should be him, though, right?
That's the least of your problems. De Bruyne getting an assist against one of them. Haaland getting 3 hat tricks in a row.
That's why I predicted it. No, I predicted because it's unprecedented. So if it is going to happen, it's going to be him because apparently at the rate he's scoring, if he carries on scoring at the rate of the previous 5 matches, he will finish the season on 76 goals.
Yeah.
And that's in the Premier League. That's not including the Champions League and the Cup.
Yeah, he won't play probably against like a Fulham or a Everton.
No, they'll definitely. No. They will put that man out against all the teams at the bottom for the reason that he can stack his numbers.
No, but they don't have to, and the reason why they struggle in the Champions League is because they wear themselves down with the Premier League matches. And that guy, he needs, if they're going to make a run to the Champions League.
It depends how the fixtures fall, though, doesn't it? Like,
I get that, but he won't play those. You know, if you give him I understand maybe he'll lose his form, but I don't think he'll lose his form if he sits out a week.
I actually said this yesterday because I took a bit of flack for it, but I stand by it. I said, because they went, he's got to play Champions League as well. I went, they only need him for the Champions League in April.
Yeah,
like Man City, you can sleepwalk to the quarterfinal. It's actually it's actually the business end is where they come unstuck and need someone.
Let's listen to Haaland's record as a professional footballer. So he started off obviously in Norway playing for Molde, and for Molde he played 50 games and he scored 20 goals. So that's where he started. 20 goals in 50 games is not bad. You're starting off very young in Molde. That's the Premier League. So from there he goes to Red Bull Salzburg. And for Red Bull Salzburg, he scores 29 goals in 27 games. So already there, he's bloody scoring goals.
Do you know he scored 9? Do you know he scored 9 in one game in the Under-20 World Cup?
Yeah. And then he's
9.
And then from Red Bull Salzburg, he goes to Borussia Dortmund, and he ends up with 86 goals in 89 games. He's played 89 games, scored 86 goals. And then now, Manchester City, so today, if today finishes with him with just 1 goal, that's 10 goals in, 6 games?
It's kind of rare, though, isn't it? Like, I find myself rooting for him to just bang in goals because he's so good at it. I can't hate him. No. I don't want. He supports Leeds. Why would I hate him? But I mean,
I did try to get.
You know what? It isn't that you're cheering for him. You're cheering for. You want to be. Say, I was there. I saw this guy. You know, everybody. You know, you want to be there when it happened, right? You know, this is something you may not see again. All right. This might be the perfect storm. He comes in there, just blows everybody away, and just scores, like you said, a large amount, like 40 goals in a Premier League season. And and if he's able to do similar things in the knockoff games in the Champions League, then you're laughing if you're City, but you've seen something amazing as a football fan. As much as that might happen to us. Right, the same thing could happen to us. We were there. We were there when he scored 3 against us, kind of thing. You don't want to be there, but I don't think anybody has it. I don't think anybody's going to be able to control him.
I think part of Haaland's appeal is that no one knows anything about him. You don't know enough about him to dislike him. He's literally, he could be a robot for all I know. That is programmed to just put the ball in there. because that's what he does.
Yeah.
But I don't know his opinion. I don't know his opinions. I don't know his political opinions. I don't care.
The thing with Haaland is, and he's had this basically since he started playing professional football, he has this mentality where he just does not care. You know, he doesn't care that he misses. He doesn't care he's in front of 80,000 people. He's just on a mission. He wants to score goals in loads of different ways. And he just has this mentality where he does not get fazed by the situation he's in.
Yeah.
It's a crazy mentality he's got. He's had it since he was a kid. So he just bulldozes through and does what he wants, and he's just so focused. And it's just like, yeah, if he's playing in a final, if he's playing in against this team, that team, it doesn't matter. He wants to score goals, and he just doesn't care. It's like he doesn't care about what's going on around him.
Well, you know, it's also one of those things where he's just all about football as far as we know. Everybody else has something else that's kind of tugging them away from football. And all we know, maybe you know more, but all we know is that he loves his football, and that's all he does. Plays football, and that's it, right? And like you said, a robot. All he does is gets fed football.
We don't know anything about him.
Which is good.
I've never seen an interview where he gives anything about himself. Like I don't know if he likes Breaking Bad or. Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't matter if I knew that. But my point is, all we know is that he's a guy that goes out and bangs ball in there.
Yeah.
Whereas like Ronaldo's been around for so long that you get his personality trickled out, and people either like it or hate it or whatever. But there's nothing about him. One thing I will say about him though, it's similar to Pep as a manager. Is that he's never been in a position where he's remotely struggled, in the sense that, like, Pep's only ever managed teams that are set up to win football matches. He's only managed top sides, whereas, and comparatively in the leagues that he's played in, Haaland's only played for I'm not going to say Dortmund are the best team in Germany, but they are supposed to be second. Yeah. So he's still in a position to look good.
Well, they're Bayern's rivals, aren't they?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Villa almost should have tied this thing up 1-1. Jalen Ramsey had 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and his touch let him down, and it basically rolled to the goalkeeper, and the threat disappeared. He should have scored. Should have scored there from where he was. This is.
I should get 6 numbers on the lottery tonight, but I probably won't.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, but you know what? When it's 1-on-1 like that, you got to at least get a shot off, and he didn't even get the shot off. You know what I mean? So that's
that is irritating. Genuinely, I'm not being sarcastic there. It is irritating. You're like, just kick the ball.
Yeah. Does anybody know about his Haaland even have like a girlfriend?
I only know who his dad is because he played for Leeds.
Yeah, apparently he's married already. But he's quirky. He's really quirky. He gives really quirky interviews. You know, he just says really cryptic, weird stuff, and he has a laugh with it because he loves trolling journalists.
His dad done that as well.
Yeah.
I remember during the lockdown, I obviously watched a lot of football during the first lockdown. So I started watching on YouTube like different Leeds review videos of seasons. But it was basically like the videos being put on YouTube. And one of them happened to be the year that we signed Alf-Inge Haaland, his dad.
Yeah.
And he started making these weird jokes about how he spent the afternoon at the Tetley Brewery and basically like the local where the beer's made. Yeah. And the interviewer is like, what? He's like, I'm just joking. I'm not really drunk. I was like, Alf, I knew that, but. So, yeah, when you tell me his son's like that, it's not surprising. His dad was a good footballer.
He's really cryptic and he loves trolling, you know, says crazy stuff. And he's a good lad. But you just I did see the clip of him in the car. I say I've not seen many interviews. I've seen this one clip
where he's in the car and he's being driven around by his advisor or whoever. And they basically say to him, have you met Calvin Phillips yet? And he goes, no, I've not yet. They're like, oh, yeah, you'll really like Calvin. He went, I know I'll like Calvin. He's from Leeds. Only good people are from Leeds. Because the randomness of it's not a random joke, it's more of a fact, because he's also from Leeds, but Haaland, obviously. But none of them got it, sort of thing. Or they did the thing where, like, you're paying me, so I'm going to laugh at this.
Yeah.
But when someone's laughing, they don't really know why, but they have to laugh.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, though. As you said, he's such a nice character out there that he'll score 3 on you with a smile, and all you can do is just smile back because you're like, damn. Like some players, you score 3 on you, you're just like, I don't like you, and he'll do it with a smile, and you're just like, damn, what can I do? You punished us when we gave you space and time, and that's your job.
The man scored 9 goals for Norway under 20s.
Yeah.
Like Norway's the only team he plays in that are not tip top.
Yeah.
And especially under 20s.
Oh, he should have scored there. He should have scored there. He didn't score. He's terrible.
They're not tip top Norway, but they've got some pretty good, talented players that they've brought through.
Haaland fell off, did he?
Yeah, it should be. Oh, that could have been a goal there, but the defender did really good to muscle him out of there. So
Norway have got a good right back. I forget his name now, but I think he plays in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
he's quite young. He's really fast. He's good, good with his feet.
They should bring back John Carew, really, and put him alongside Haaland.
I don't know if you guys noticed. I don't know if maybe it's just me, but when Norway plays, I always feel like I don't see like Erdegaard being able to take advantage of Haaland as much as I would have thought they would have when they're playing.
No, they're getting better now. They're getting there's more they're getting more out of each other now. But yeah, it's difficult because obviously the opposition try to stop that, don't they?
But I mean, when you're playing certain teams, he should be able to dominate. It doesn't matter. You should be able to just put the ball in the air. He'll go get it. You know what I mean? Especially for like probably 80% of the games, nobody's going to be able to touch him, right? So I always feel like that's where I, expect them to be able to, those two to dominate, being as close as they are. And that,
they do have games where they play well together, and they will send things like that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining us, Riddy.
Damsgaard at Brentford. That's another good signing. I mean, they got rid of Eriksson, and they basically got the next best thing in terms of Danish football. Anyway,
it's handy.
This is really fresh off the press.
Under 21 trading.
Fresh off the press. Why not? There aren't many people I do like.
It's ironic he put that, because when I saw the sentence, right. I wasn't going to say it, but when I saw the sentence, I don't like Haaland and I don't like, and it cut off, so I don't know what the actual second one is. I don't like Mbappe. The exact sentence that entered my head was, it'd be a lot easier if you just told me who you did like.
Yeah.
Like you not liking something is the default answer, the default option in a situation. I love Why Not Spursy, but let's be fair. That is the obvious, like,
yes,
I don't like it. Of course you don't.
The glass is half empty with Why Not Spursy.
Yeah.
Glass is half empty.
He's always nice to me, though. I've got a problem with him, but because he has got enough common sense to be a Tom fan, so I'll give him that. but
I think it's really hard not to be a Tom fan.
Hilarious.
Come on.
No, hilarious. There aren't many people I do like. He was in my brain. He was in,
Got a free kick coming.
He's in my mind, man.
For De Bruyne or Gundogan, so we'll see who takes it.
Of course, they're bloody going to win, aren't they, City? Of course they are.
De Bruyne hits the crossbar and goes over. That guy's terrible, man. Can't even get the ball in underneath the crossbar.
Yeah, that Man City team with 4 titles in 5 years, not good enough.
Yeah, just enough sense. That's enough.
Yeah,
said.
if Man City were a real football club, it'd be 5 out of 5. Like another team so far this season, 5 out of 5.
True.
But
They are.
titles, not wins.
Yeah.
No, I'll say this though, they are the sort of football team that you got to try and enjoy them somewhat now, in the context that eventually oil states, etc., are going to own 3 or 4 teams in England, let's say, and all that talent will just be spread between the 4 clubs. Whereas
that's when it comes down. That's when it comes down to who's their manager. Because I always say, no matter how much you have, you still got to have a manager that can get the most out of whoever you got, right? And City has still the better manager, so they're gonna more times than not. They're gonna, yeah.
Pep's rationale, and this came out of Pep's mouth, so I'm not. This ain't my opinion. This was his opinion. He basically said he thinks Marcelo Bielsa is a better manager than himself because he couldn't have got a mid-table team out of the Championship.
Yeah.
Bielsa could have won the league with my team.
But you know what? Nobody will give Bielsa the checkbook, and that's the problem. Right, they like the flash. Bielsa probably isn't going to sell like the brand the way you want, but he'll get your squad there. If you like, right? If you could say, here's a blank check, go get what you want. All right. Nobody probably will like the style of play that he's playing, but he would have the best players in all those positions that he wants. So whatever
the thing with him,
trouble, I think.
The thing I find fascinating with him, that with hindsight about his tenure at Leeds, is I think with him you've got to take advantage of the enormous high that he's going to give your team, because he will take your team to a spectacular high, but then you've got to not let it drop to back where you started. Like I don't want to say you've got to get him out, but you've got to hope that he realises it's dropping, because you can't play his brand of football for 4 years non-stop. You just can't. You clearly can't. But his brand of football is how football should be played. Ideally, if football was played by robots, his tactics would win constantly. But it's played by humans, and that's why his tactics are fallible.
True.
He's a great man, though.
There we go.
To answer that for BX, he did manage to get Atletico Bilbao to the Europa. It was at the time the Europa League final. They beat Man United twice, if I remember rightly. That's a big deal, because Atletico Bilbao have a policy where they don't sign players. You only bring in people from the local area. Essentially, every player at Athletic Bilbao is a youth team player, and they've never been relegated. Like they made massive business when they sold Kepa to Chelsea for 70 million. That basically funded their academy for the next however many years. But yeah, he basically got a group of youth team players that were aged, but to the Europa League final and the Spanish Cup final, lost both. But I'd argue that is quite a successful undertaking on his part. But the same thing happened the year after. All the players retired, and results dropped off. So I had to sack him.
Yeah,
he did win the Argentine league as well. Sorry,
they're always there in the league, but they're never quite high up, are they? Sometimes they creep into sometimes they might creep into like close to a Europa League spot, maybe.
Yeah,
but it's like it's the 90s where they were like UEFA Cup merchants, weren't they?
But obviously, with football becoming more of a money game, they get left behind
Yeah.
because of like a lot of people might say, "Oh, their policy's racist," but it's not, because they've got a player in their team. They've got a black player up front who's played the last 600 league games or something like that. It's some crazy record like that. So basically, they will play anyone as long as you're from Bilbao.
Yeah. No, that's obviously their transfer policy, or their player, pool, or whatever you want to call it, policy. They just want players from the local area. That's it. It's not racist. You can be whatever color if you.
But the perception is no. But the perception.
I just got an alert that we're gonna like. I just got an alert that I think we're gonna like, but I haven't seen it yet.
Ooh.
Long ball comes in, and Walker tries to clear it, but it goes right back.
Goal.
Long ball goes in.
Goal.
And two defenders try to clear it. Not good. Kept it in the attacking third. Got a long ball. Here's Ramsey. Puts a cross in. And who is that? 31. Oh, that's Bailey. Is that not Bailey? It's Bailey, right?
Leon Bailey?
Yep, Bailey with a nice shot from just inside the box.
Well.
That was a really, really nice sequence of play there. City just couldn't get that ball out and in control. And Jalen Ramsey made a really nice cross in there. And just as and that's the thing that's why I keep talking about Arsenal. Can you just play one-touch football, please? Because the cross comes in, all he does is put his foot on it, and nobody has a chance to do anything about it, and it scores.
Yeah.
Boom.
When you said you got an alert that I might like, I was sitting there thinking, has Haaland scored again?
Oh, sorry.
But no, you went.
You know
the other
what?
way.
This is the elixir, right? This is the don't press my buttons. You won't like me when I get mad, right? This is what this is right now. Anytime you score against City, guess what happens? You draw a game late in a game, right? There's 16 minutes left. There's more than enough opportunities to get 2 goals for Haaland, and you get your money.
No, there is.
He scored a hat trick in 19 minutes. He's got 16 minutes to get 2 goals.
Yeah, I'm not. I was about to say I'm not overly worried. I mean, I am, because I get the chance to be smug if it actually happens. But which is more important than the actual winning. All right, it's the celebration on the Friday evening. Even 6 days later, when I get to sit on that show and go, "I told you so." I'll do it. I'll get this time. I'll be like, "I told you so."
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
But yeah, he's a fascinating character, that Bielsa. He's an Olympic gold medalist as well, technically.
So you guys don't think there's any way he can win a Champions League or a top 5 league championship because of his style of play? No matter if you gave him all the money in the world, it's just not going to happen. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think he could. I don't think he will, because his mannerisms personally have a ceiling in terms of who will be willing to deal with him. Because why bring him in when you can bring in Pep, for example, as such, in terms of attacking football? Like, us bringing him in was literally just a roll of the dice to try and get in the Premier League, ultimately. Thinking we wouldn't be able to get him, and then he basically took the interview, like he interviewed us, sort of thing. Even though we turned up, like, yeah. But he lasted 1 day at Lazio.
What?
He lasted 1 day at Lazio.
That's the Italians for you.
Yeah. I don't have the exact details, but the general gist of the story was he agreed to the job and basically arranged to arrive and on a certain date and all that. And he basically gave him a list of transfer targets, and he went, "I'd like you to try and bring in these players." And they basically turned around to him at some point and went, "No, we couldn't get them." So what he did was he phoned up the clubs basically and went, "Did Lazio call you?" And they went, "No." And he was like, didn't turn up basically for the job.
Yeah,
Because in his mind, he was like, if you like, for example, we try to get a play like Dan James or whatever, but then he ain't angry at us for not being able because we tried to get Dan James at the time and
it's
we couldn't.
Integrity, isn't it? There's no integrity.
Yeah, basically, he didn't want to be lied to, and they lied to. If they're going to lie to him on minus day one, then what's going to happen a year down the line, sort of thing? But all that to turn around and go, I don't know the names of the players, is irrelevant. But if let's just say it was Ronaldo, and it weren't, but let's just say it was. All that to say was we contacted them, and they basically said no, and it'd be true. And he'd have gone, all right, I'll work with what I have, because that's what he did at Leeds.
Yeah.
He basically went at Leeds. He basically took one training session on the first day, and he separated them into 3 groups of, I want those players, I don't want those players, and I'm undecided on those players. And that was it. And some of them from the middle group did work their way into his plans, but yeah,
you know, I know it should be easy.
Strange.
I know it should be.
No, go on, Gary.
And I'm just saying that's what makes it easy because you know exactly what you're going to get. It's your choice whether or not you want to believe that it's actually the way that he deals with the squad, right? And people don't, he's not going to lie to you, and he doesn't want you to lie to him. It should be easy, right? It's just like this is how I do my business, and it's successful. And he's, I think he's confident in what he does,
Right.
and.
Right, so I'm gonna have to get going in a sec here now, but I just want to. I know Tom's probably gonna have like a question of the day or something like that or whatever, something to end off in. But I've just found something here that I want to share with everyone. That's pretty spectacular, and that is looking at we're looking at some stats here, football stats. Basically, the most prolific player per decade in terms of goals and assists, so goal contributions together, goals and assists per the player each per decade who had the most, right? And this is going to show you how great a certain player is, okay? Right, so starting the 50s. The 50s, let's just have a little guess.
Can we guess? Give us a clue. Like,
I guess the player in the 50s with the most, right? Guess the 50s. He played for Real Madrid, and he's from Hungary.
Oh, Puskas.
Correct. 400 in the 50s. During the 50s, he had 474 goal contributions. The next decade, the 60s, you can probably guess who that is.
Pele.
Correct. Well done, Tom.
It's funny. I was going to say it, but I didn't want to sound silly.
So 60s.
No, because Pele's got an absurd record, although it's debatable because none of the matches are official.
Yeah, but don't worry, this is not crazy like that. This is I think this is probably based on official numbers they've found anyway. But anyway,
fair enough.
For the 60s, so for the 60s, Pele is registered with 684 goal contributions. Right, so we move on to the 70s. Who do you reckon for the 70s? I'll give you a clue.
Yeah.
Germany's top scorer.
Gerd Müller.
Correct. Well done, Tom. So for the 70s, it's Gerd Müller, and his number is 565, which isn't bad. 565 goal contributions for the 70s.
Bayern and Germany, I'm guessing.
So let's move on to the 80s. So which player do you reckon for the 80s?
I want to say Maradona, but uncertain. Is it Maradona?
Correct, Tom.
Oh.
It's Maradona for the 80s. Diego Maradona. And he had not spectacular numbers. I suppose it wasn't a great decade for prolific footballers, but 361 basically for Diego Maradona for the 80s. So we move on to the 90s. Who do you reckon for the 90s?
Is it Brazilian?
Yes.
Is it Romario?
Yes. Well done, Tom. You're good at this. You're good at this, right? So Romario for the 90s, 412 goal contributions. Right, now we move on to the 2000s, right? So this is 2000 to 2010. That decade, who had the most?
I'm going to save my guess for the next decade because I think I'm right in the next decade.
It's not R9, is it?
You're not going to guess for the you're not going to guess for the 2000 to 2010.
2000 to 2010. Is it? Where does he play? Like what league predominantly?
I'm going to tell you. He played in the Premier League.
Okay. See, I don't think Ronaldo scored all his goals in this decade.
He played in the Premier League, and he played for France.
I was going to say Henry because I was just like,
yes,
I was just thinking
Thierry Henry.
It's Thierry Henry, an Arsenal player of the decade, 2000 to 2010, basically. Thierry Henry with 458.
Yeah,
right. So now
it was two. There was 2 years that Ronnie hadn't played.
And now let me remind you that so far, from the 50s to 2010, the player with absolutely the most goal contributions out of all this time so far is the 60s with Pele, 684, right? The others have been in the 400s, basically. Right, so now the last one on this list is from 2010 to 2020.
I got this one.
Oh, we know.
I got this one. It's Messi because he like averages 40 to 50 goals a season, much less assists.
Lionel Messi.
Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo, isn't it?
Lionel Messi.
Right.
But listen to this number. This is crazy. So Pele in the 60s, 684. Lionel Messi from 2010 to 2020, 809. 809 goal contributions. That is just insane.
I'm going to defend Pele here, right? Because as much as I think that his goal figure, in general speaking, is made up, what I will say that they probably don't know how many assists he actually made.
Well, I'm just going by the official figures that come in.
No, I get that.
I'm just saying
because assists isn't a. Messi's done a lot.
My point here is just how prolific Messi has been. You know, the guy scored 40, 50, 60 goals a season. Every season he's played. It's just crazy. And, 809 goal contributions. It's just, and that's right. Listen, that's in 10 years, right? So that's an average of 80 goal contributions a season. That's insane.
And Haaland's going to nearly reach that with no assists.
Anyway, that's my lot. Thank you very much.
Wow. No. I'm not going to do a question because that was outstanding.
Cool. I don't know.
I won't waste a question after an even better question because that question was going to be nowhere near as good as that.
Yeah.
I can waste that on Monday.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Outstanding work.
That was good. That's
fun.
Pretty good. And Mr. Tom, do you have a question before we let Sam go?
I was trying to make one up off the top of my head now.
Before he goes. I don't know if any of this stuff is bad, but thank you for joining us from Twitter. From Twitch.
I think this is some kind of Russian bot, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, I probably put something bad up, but
maybe Putin's watching. Right. Oh, Vladimir likes Gary's podcast.
Babushka. I don't know what that means.
I was gonna say vodka. Can't you just say vodka? Oh man. Yeah, and this is it didn't exist before the Prem.
I'm not entirely sure about that, but anyway, that is said goals and assists, but maybe some assists are missing. I don't know. I just thought It came up in my feed today, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool. I like that one. That was really good. It's a good one to go through. Yeah.
I
had two of the answers on the tip of my tongue. And I didn't pull the Pele one. I should have pulled that one out. But the Messi one I knew was going to be one of the decades.
Pele would sound too obvious to be true. But so I was like, do I really want to say what seems like the answer? But then people are like, oh, is he the only player you know from the 60s? Yes.
He was prolific.
He's the only one I know from the 60s that had a Mega Drive game named after him.
And he was prolific, and he was number 2. He was the guy with
Genesis
the
for the Americans.
He was prolific, and he was the guy with the second most behind Messi. So.
And as we found out on Monday night, Pele also the most fouls committed at the 1970 World Cup. That is true.
That's true.
I mean, I haven't counted. I haven't counted every foul, but alleged because I discovered it. A trivia question was basically, what do Mick McCarthy and Pele have in common?
Yeah.
And the one thing they have in common is they both individually committed the most fouls at a World Cup that they played in.
That is a crazy stat, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the most fouled player at a World Cup is Maradona. And he was the most fouled. Basically, the top 3, or basically the top 5, 4 of them are Maradona.
Yeah.
In 4 different World Cups.
You know what? I can believe that 110% because when you actually rewatch that England-Argentina game from 1986 in the Mexican World Cup, the Hand of God game, when you actually rewatch that game, they kicked lumps out of him that day all throughout the game. Yeah. They kicked him and pushed him over. He got fouled basically for 90 minutes, and he still ran rings around him.
I mean, I want to say he's tough, but that could be the cocaine if we're being honest. But I mean,
that's the thing, right? Is you try to compare today's footballers by the past, and it's like there was no rules against what they could take to kind of help them get through the day. So
the ref weren't going to protect you. Like you could like in the last 10 years, you would see Messi would look at the ref like, ref, I can't show my dazzling skills if they're kicking the shit out of me. And the ref would be like, all right, Lionel, I'll help you look your best, sort of thing. Whereas Maradona would be like, ref, they're kicking the shit out of me. And you go, yeah.
Yeah, so what?
Not in the rules. Not against. I was going to say not in the rules. It is in the rules that they can't kick the shit out of you. They just didn't enforce them. But before we go, a quick aside: you've seen the goal they scored for Argentina? I think it's against Greece in the '94 World Cup, where he then runs to the camera and basically gobs all over it, sort of thing, and he has the eyes right. Now, apparently the drug testing at that World Cup was random.
Yeah.
But why do I have my spider sense is tingling at the second he ran to that camera and basically went rah and gobbled all over it? The drug tester went, I randomly choose that we test Diego Maradona.
Very random. Very random.
Let's be fair to him. I wonder if there was more coke than blood in his blood when they did the test.
Yeah,
or
it was
piss. Would it be a piss test? Yeah.
When he went to Napoli, right? Have you seen that? Have you seen the documentary? The quite new one. It's a really in-depth documentary on Maradona. It's fantastic.
I've seen a game there, like the final game of the season, where he karate kicked someone.
Well, they got pissed off with him because of the Italia World Cup, basically when he beat Italy. They got pissed off with him. But anyway, what I was going to say was when he went to Napoli, right, and he was basically a one-man team at Napoli, won them the league. But anyway, but you can imagine, right? No wonder the guy got off his head on coke because he got to Napoli, and they basically the mafia and everyone. They just gave him as much coke as he wanted for free. He got it for free. He could just have as much as he wanted for free. He had mountains of it. No wonder the guy was coked up the rest of his life.
It's like that scene in Scarface.
Yeah, absolutely.
To my little friend. Yeah.
He fascinates me, Maradona.
Yeah.
Well, he
He's
did.
a fascinating character. Fascinating.
I mean, I'd be
fascinating
amazed if I saw him score a new goal. I'd be amazed because he's been dead for years.
Hey,
That guy
guess
was
what?
insane,
Guess what?
Steve.
If this result holds, guess who will start Monday as the top team in the league once again?
Us.
I know. Is it Arsenal?
No matter what happens tomorrow.
Is it one of them statistics that you wouldn't have said it if it wasn't Arsenal? Because I do the same thing with Leeds. Like, who's the greatest team in Yorkshire? Which team has won the most Premier League matches on a Tuesday? Which I'd only know if it was Leeds, because why would I know if it was Ipswich?
You found Gary out. You found him out.
Yeah.
Well, the teams are dropping points, and I don't want to drop points. So this is this is the same thing that we had in the end of last season. Get me 3 points. You've got 3 chances in a row to get me 3 points. Get me 3 points. Now tomorrow, get me 3 points once again. All right. The other team isn't as good as you, no matter how quality of players they have. It doesn't. You've won 5 in a row, it's not by mistake, right? You've won 5. Nobody gave you those 3 points. No, none of those teams. They would have taken them from us easily, but they did not. The mentality has to be get me 3. Yeah.
Like, before I forget it, because it just entered my head, here's a bit of trivia that you can remember, Sam, if you know any Leeds fans, which probably only know one. But anyway, only two Leeds players, Lee Bowyer and Patrick Bamford, are the only 2 Leeds players to have scored on every day of the week.
Wow.
And the only reasons for that, because you'd think, that doesn't seem that impressive, but because Lee Bowyer scored for Leeds when we were in the UEFA Cup, which is how he would have scored on the Thursday. And how Patrick Bamford scored on the Thursday was when they started playing games during the lockdown. Leeds' fixtures tended to work out that we would play Thursday, Sunday.
Right, okay.
And that's how he ended up scoring on a Thursday. So,
right.
Yeah.
So Villa drew at home versus City, and we won 2-1 against Villa. So we're better, right?
Exactly. According to everyone else's logic, that's the way it works, right? Yeah.
Do you think they should give Gerrard a new 6-year contract?
Give him a 10-year contract now. Give him the key to Birmingham.
All right, so we're at what are we at now? The 140
3 hours and 22 minutes of rambling crap and shit.
But Mr. Tom, will I have you up there? Let's give us, if you have a question, do it. If not, let's
no. I might as well save it for another show because Sam's question was outstanding. Genuinely outstanding. I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic when I say that, but I'm not. It was good fun. Good interaction with it as well.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you everyone for supporting the show. I mean, especially when I weren't here. I mean, because I bring in the numbers, don't I? No, I mean, seriously. Well done. Thank you for interacting, supporting Gary's channel on the 2 days that he does it. And did you put out a video during the week, Gary?
Last week I did. I think I did a little video from. I was out in California, waiting for my daughter she was doing something, so I got to sit around and made a video there to talk about the transfer. We didn't really talk about the transfer that much as I thought we would, but yeah. So I did that. So I think I got some views on that. So I appreciate those people who came out.
Can't talk about a transfer window if you didn't make any transfers on the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was really.
Yeah. Before we go, so yeah, I just want to say congratulations to Bamba Dieng on working his way into being exactly where he started. oh, I'm going to sit on the private jet for Leeds at the runway and like who and ha about whether I want to join Leeds, and then tell Leeds, oh no, I'm actually going to go and have a medical with Nice, and then I'm going to fail the medical with Nice, and then go, oh Leeds, can I come and have a medical with you? No, you can't. Fuck off. But anyway, so yeah, he's up there with Peter Odemwingie for the transfer deadline day legend. Gary, he's a guy that he wanted to force a move. I can't remember if it was from Stoke to West Brom or something. I can't remember exactly. But basically, his club gave him no permission to force through the transfer. So he was basically stuck in the car park in his car with the reporter trying to interview him, and he had to wind down his window, and he was like, I want my club to like. I can't remember exactly what was said, but basically it's a picture of him winding down his window to. Yeah, you're probably right, but I just remember it so vividly. And Mr. Now you say QPR, it makes more sense but genuinely turned up to force a transfer, thinking if I go there, the club are definitely going to say yes, so they don't risk getting embarrassed. But instead, the club went, no, we don't sanction this transfer, and we expect him back here tomorrow for training.
Well, that's basically what Aubameyang did. That's basically what Aubameyang did with us. He just went to Barcelona to force it through. He was supposed to be at training. We went.
Outrageous. Sorry.
And you know the thing about it, no matter what teams do next in their next Premier League match, if we win tomorrow, it doesn't matter. We'll still stay at the top of the table.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
that's how the point system works.
Amazing.
All right, Mr. Rules. Tom, thank you for your question.
Thank you for having me on.
The way out. No, I appreciate it. And Sam, I know you were saying goodbye a couple minutes ago, but we were able to hold on to you for a little bit longer.
It's so hard to say goodbye when you're in such good company. Huh? That's just the way it is, you know. I just enjoy myself so much. It's hard to get going and do other things. But listen, thanks for having me. It's been great fun as always. I see Tom's ready to go with his fingers. And he's drumming them now. He's smelling them, getting them ready.
It's the smell of losing 5-2. No wait, that's because I had them up my arse first. No wait, sorry.
But anyway, thanks a lot for having me as always. Everyone in the chat's been great. It's always great to interact with everyone in the chat here. Some really good guys, and there's always some good questions and interactions. So thanks again. And for tomorrow, I think we'll draw. I don't think we'll win. I think it'll be just a bit too tough tomorrow, Old Trafford. You know, things probably won't go our way. But anyway, draw still good, 1-1. We go to the next match. Thanks again, and hope everyone has a great evening. Yes.
And as everybody said, thank you very much.
What sort of evening do you think I'm going to have?
You got all your chips, so you should just drown in the chips and enjoy them. But everybody, once again, thank you again for joining us. We do this every Saturday at 5 p.m. in the UK, noon for those in the US on the East Coast over here. So we'll do it again. And Arsenal tomorrow. I need Jesus to get us to win us the game. That's what I want. I want him to be man of the match because he did so much, especially in the first half, so that then we just hold on. So I need Holding to come on to close this out. That's kind of what I'm thinking and hoping. But we will do this again next week. I'll see you on Monday for those who want to join the trip, and we will do that. So as I like to say, life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride. All right, everyone. We're out.